I'm always surprised how few business owners actually track their leads or their inquiries. You know, they couldn't tell you when they last followed up with that inquiry. They just don't do that. It blows me away.
As business owners, it's really easy to forget you're in complete control as to what your destiny is going to be into the future, and you've got the ability to create whatever it is that you want.
If you just stay in this, I'll just let business happen to me, then you can't really expect the cool results because you're basically just being average. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that if you can fill your pipeline, you're probably going to run your business with a lot more confidence. Phil, this is a conversation that we seem to come across recently around the old pipeline.
It sure is. Mate, you've taken the words right out of my mouth with the C-bomb already so early in a pod, and we haven't dropped a C-bomb for quite some time, and that is confidence. But the other C-bomb that I've also jotted down was my favourite, crystal balls. And I think business owners are maybe a little bit afraid or don't even know what to do to, one, get their balls out, and two, polish them. And we've spoken about it and we thought, hey, let's maybe expand on what the concept of a pipeline is to help business owners understand what it is that we're talking about, and then maybe some tips and tricks that they can then go away and implement into their own business to then try and get that confidence, because what comes with confidence is certainty. And if we've got that, we can then make decisions today that will give us a better business for tomorrow.
Yeah, love it. It's one of those things where I think people get stuck with budgeting, cash flow forecasting, all those types of things, and then don't go back to when we ask them, what are you doing to map out what work you've got coming up and what work could be out there, and how you're then going to get that work to become an invoice that you'll get paid for, which then ticks off the budgeting piece and therefore the cash flow piece as well. But the pipeline piece just seems to be ignored, and instead we jump straight to, I'm just going to forecast my revenue and just increase it by 3 to 5% every month and happy days.
It's the common theme with what you just raised. Everything is future focused. And it's fascinating that that's a common theme, that business owners shy away from it because I don't know why. It's either scary, or they think they lack the confidence or the skills or whatever it is about putting a stake in the ground around what is my future state going to look like. And I think as business owners, it's really easy to forget you're in complete control as to what your destiny is going to be into the future, and you've got the ability to create whatever it is that you want. And I think by dreaming up, hey, look, I want to have the Ranger and I want to get the boat, well, that's great, but ultimately the cash has got to come from the business. Let's start and put out to the world or internally first, what do we need that future state to look like? So let's start and create it with a pipeline first.
Yeah, I reckon, we think like that, and it just had me thinking, part of probably why people don't do this, a lot of business owners in New Zealand, is because they actually don't believe that they're in control of their destiny. Ooh. So you see the comments around the government or this change or the economy, they're so focused on external factors that when you then say, okay, well then what are you going to do about it? They're basically like, what do you mean? There's nothing you can do. But we're working with business owners that have gotten themselves out of that way of thinking. They can then see what it is that they want to achieve. They're more aspirational. They've still got to deal with government changes, economics, and money slowing down, business going under. But every time they're going, okay, I'm going to have to do something different, because they still want to get to their goal. So if you just stay in this, I'll just let business happen to me, then you can't really expect the cool results because you're basically just being average.
Yeah, I guess that's the proactive versus reactive, right?
Yeah.
Or putting so much weight or influence on factors that are outside of your control, whereas those ones that are aspirational are really aware of what they're in control of their sphere or degrees of influence, and going, right, for me to be able to achieve this picture here, I'm in control of this and I can go away and do this, 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 and this. And we harp on about it every fucking email, every podcast, or it feels like almost every podcast, about how simple it is to send an email. And it even came up today in a meeting with a client. And they might be listening, I don't know. But it just still astounds me when we were talking to this business owner about it, and I didn't raise this at the time, but the thought that I had, it still astounds me the amount of businesses that are sitting on huge volumes of data that have never sent an email.
Yeah, or asked.
Or asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, past customers, past customer databases, customers you could call.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we have thrashed it 1,000 times, but the economy was so frothy and so easy that people, I think, got a bit complacent, and now they're in a hard economy and they're just stuck in this kind of, when's it just going to get better? When's it going to be in a mode that I don't have to do anything? But the clients that want to win, they're going out there making it happen.
So when we talk about a pipeline, what the lads are referring to is your sales pipeline. What activity can we reasonably forecast that we can nurture to then go, right, this is going to start at the top of the funnel as some degree of inquiry, and what can we do to massage or nurture that so that it ultimately drops down the bottom as an invoice and then cash in the bank. And there are a stack load of really simple things I think that business owners can be doing or should be doing to help nurture that pipeline. And I think number one would be set up some kind of system first so that you can track it. And it can be as simple as a spreadsheet. I use a Trello board. There's even software like Pipedrive.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's free or it's a subscription service, but there's tools out there. And ultimately, from what I see, myself doing, and then what we've seen other clients do, is ultimately listing down a number of different buckets that somebody's at the top of your funnel in terms of like there's an initial inquiry and then we're wanting to move them through. And as we move them through, we're then tracking, okay, have they ultimately been won and we're invoicing them, or have they lost and, that hasn't turned out to be a piece of work? And if they have lost, like why? Let's get some feedback. Is it price? Is it our personalities? Is it our, with too much heat, too raw? Whatever it is, we've got to get that data as to find out why to then help reinform people that are coming back into the top of the funnel into the future. Are you thinking about buying a business or maybe getting yours valued? At Next Advisory, we help you figure out what a business is really worth and guide you through a business purchase with confidence. Before you buy, visit nextadvisory.nz and book a time to have a chat with me.
I'm always surprised how few business owners actually track their leads or their inquiries. They couldn't tell you when they last followed up with that inquiry. They just don't do that. It blows me away.
Don't get me started. I like 100%. And I think for businesses that and this is mainly businesses I think that are dealing with maybe project or job related type matters. It's not really potentially for retail, maybe big ticket retail. But your average, Bev down in the Mount selling her T-shirts with her Benina. God, we haven't mentioned her for a while. I doubt she'll be running a pipeline. She should be running some kind of marketing calendar to try and take advantage of the old Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then any other seasonal events that she could be doing to nurture out her leads that are in her bucket. But definitely for the bigger project-based ones or big ticket items, like if you're a car salesperson, you might be Rog down at the Ranger dealership and you've got Bruce that's coming in looking at the wild track. And, there's not every day someone's coming in looking for a wild track. Said no one ever. They're probably coming in spades at the moment, taking advantage of the investment boost. I bet you Rog is going to be back on the phone to Bruce like the next business day. Like if Bruce is turning up on a Saturday or Sunday, Roger's going to be calling him Monday or Tuesday because it's in his pipeline. He's going to go right, mate, do you want to take it for another test drive? What do we need to do to get you over the line on this wild track? And he'll nurture it, and then Bruce is either going to commit or he's not. And you want to get your customer to get to that outcome first, faster, so it can free up your bandwidth, so you can carry on and get your next win.
And this is where I think business owners get trapped in that, what's the best software to use for my pipeline?
Yes.
And the answer could be a pad and a pen, because you're doing nothing at the moment. And especially if you don't have a volume of leads, you don't need to go and set up a whole new system and, it's got all these auto reminders and AI bolts into it now.
Yep.
You didn't call Sally back. That got in touch with you last week. The system isn't going to do that bit for you. You probably want to make a note, I need to call Sally back.
Yep.
That's as simple as it needs to be to start with. But instead we're like, right, I might compare them as well. Then I watched a YouTube tutorial. I might get a demo. We might implement it next month. Call Sally back.
Mate, you're 100% bang on. And I'm going to put a stab in the dark here with no, anecdotal data at best. There's a caveat here. I reckon the worst ones would be tradies.
Coming for us on YouTube, I can feel it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm sensing. But I've had some dealings with tradies in the past, and now that obviously being a homeowner, you have to deal with tradies periodically to come and get jobs done. And I analyze the relationship and how they're talking stuff from a business point. As much as I'm a customer, I'm just going, right, how are you tackling this? What's your sales technique like? What's your follow-up like? What's your pricing like? What is your invoice? Are you using Xero? Is it MYOB when you finally send it all through? I mean, my mind just goes nuts. I'm a bit of a nerd like that. But it's fascinating the amount of people that you engage with, and you can tell there is no system or process because it's not structured, it's infrequent, or frankly, you get in touch. You'd be lucky if you hear from them. Certainly not immediately, maybe a few days later. Well, there's improvement number one if you're wanting to manage your pipeline. Speed wins, time kills deals. That's something you're a massive fan of. And then secondly, I think that follow-up mechanism piece and what you can be doing to nurture somebody.
Yeah, I think if you start with what we had before, it's like goal. Okay, we have goal, then we need hunger to achieve the goal. We should then know what we need to do to achieve the goal. So it might be X number of projects or work at X margin. Okay, who's going to give me that? Right, what am I doing to facilitate conversations with those people? And you can basically walk backwards from your goal and hold yourself accountable to, am I even going to get there?
Spot on. Well, that just reminds me, we were down in the wonderful Queenstown, as we've reminded some listeners on multiple occasions. We're due to go back to keep the economy frothing down there. And we did our business planning and we mapped out a revenue target, and then we went to work at going, okay, if we're going to hit this amount of revenue in a year, what's our current base of revenue? What's the gap? Where's that going to come from? So, okay, how many business planning clients? How many 90-day clients? How many business valuations? How many due diligence projects? What's our capacity across all of that different stuff to make sure that, one, we can do it, and it's the work that we want to be doing? And then you give it the old sniff test, and you're like, yeah, this is doable.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, we're not blooming pissing in the breeze, so to speak, of going, we've got this lofty goal of trying to turn over $10 million as a, shitty little accounting firm that some people might say we are. Heads up, we're not. We're not saying, hey, we're going to strive for $10 million of revenue and then look at it and go, oh, man, we're going to need to be doing a lot of rental tax returns for that. Yeah. This is, no. Let's actually bring it back to some reality. Okay, this is the number that we want. Boom, boom, boom. It's X amount of business planning, da-da-da. So it is achievable. And I think if more businesses did that, it will then create the hunger. Plus, I think it also creates the framework of then going, no, I will say no to this particular customer because I'm confident that I'm putting in work into nurturing my pipeline and getting work to come in, that I can say no to this one because there will be one that will come along, not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point in the future that I'll be able to go, yes.
And that's where I reckon it breaks for the people that we speak to, because they do all the sexy work and they do it 80% of the time, and then they get frustrated by this 20%. And then we say, well, why do you even do that? Because isn't your ideal work the 80% of the stuff? Oh, we have to slot it in because, there's not enough in the pipeline. And then we say, great use of the terminology. However, what are we doing to get more of that 80% work in there? And then, because the question we often ask them is, well, if you had more of that work, would you be doing that work? And they say, straight away, they're like, no. And then we're like, well, isn't that the answer? That we shouldn't be doing that stuff? And I think business owners believe they're solving their pipeline issues by doing work for either shit clients or customers they don't want to be working for, or doing work that they don't want to do, but they're saying, oh, I'm solving pipeline and cash flow issues. But really, the pipeline is still the issue because they're not filling it up with the work that they want to do. And so then they've got to be distracted by the thing over there or the shiny object or the work they don't want to do because they're scared that they're not going to have enough work to then give them a full pipeline, to then have the cash flow, to then have the confidence that they can say no.
I think that the being scared and that scarcity mindset, can be flipped to that abundance by being in better control and actually going out and hunting the opportunity. And I think that's where the top of the pipeline ultimately sits for a lot of businesses, is go and find your ideal clients and work out how you can help solve their problems and then put them in your pipeline. And then I think as soon as you go, right, we've got potential customer or client A, B, C, and D, and they've got problem, and you put a dollar figure next to it, and you're looking at that every day or every week as you're working on your business, because this is working on your business stuff, folks, that sure as shit should make you hungry and motivated to go, shit, I've actually spoken to this person. They've got a problem that I can help with. It's a $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 or $2,000, whatever the number is in your world. You multiply that down by a stack load of people across the country whose problems you can solve. That's sure as shit going to be motivating for a business owner to go, right, okay, there's actually opportunity out there. I've just got to shake the tree and get it bouncing along my little funnel.
Yeah, and I think everybody's got a different pipeline to then get that client to land, and that's the bit that you've got to reverse engineer for your own business. And going back to our Queenstown example before of the different sessions we want to do, yesterday I signed up a client to do 90 days, so $7,000. That price is going up next year. And I went back and had a look. Well, they've paid to come to multiple workshops. They've heard me speak in person, and they've listened to podcasts. So they've built up trust through that, and now they're ready. So now they're ready to part ways with $7,000. But over the last 12 months, they've been in our world, in our funnel or marketing pipe. And then, right, now they're ready. Great. They reach out. Let's go.
We could call it our ecosystem of brilliance.
Exactly.
Yes.
ESOB. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. But that's often what it takes for us. And we had a client today who was like, I just committed to a big job for a client. They've been in my ecosystem of brilliance for 3 years, where they've been nurturing them along.
Wow.
And I think that's like too many people want to skip that and just go, I don't want to figure out how to fill the pipe. They just go, well, I want that revenue. And then they go out to the market and say, do you have any work for me to do? And you go, well, no. And they go, oh, fuck. Because you're just making it all about yourself instead of, okay, how am I going to show up so that when they're ready and they have a problem, then you as a business owner are the one that they call.
I've got one standout client that I would love to share the intimate details of, but I won't for fear of getting in a little bit of trouble. But they use some software, and I can't remember what the software is that they use, but essentially their pipeline is the best pipeline management I think I've ever seen of any business. And they massage the shit out of it until they get that happy ending. And it starts at the beginning where they go out and find the opportunity. They will just look at everything and go, that's something that fits in our warehouse. That's an ideal project for us. We can do this. And they jot them down. And then they know the particular dollar values of each of the particular pieces of work that are on the table. And then they'll slowly nurture it along from being, okay, an opportunity to going, validating it to go, yep, this is actually something that's genuine, or no, actually, we've had a bit more of a detailed look. This one isn't for us. Once it's been identified, boom, and then they'll go further, deeper and deeper and deeper. And they know that based on their target of revenue that they want to achieve every year, on a conversion of 1 in 3, they've worked backwards to then know how full the pipeline into the future needs to be and how long the conversion is. So at any one time, there needs to be X number of opportunities in each part of the thing and a certain dollar value, knowing that it all reduces by 1/3 as they go down.
Wow.
It's sophisticated as hell, but oh my God, when you look at it, it's one, exciting to know that there's stuff happening out there, and two, it gets you charged up and fly. If that was me and it was my business, I'd wake up every morning and I'd open that. And I'd look at it and I'd just go, I'm hungry for this today.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of having a pipeline or managing this is that, it's like you often say, what gets measured gets done, or you're focusing on it, right? So then you're actually going to put more attention to it. So like, often if I've sent a proposal and I don't hear back from that person, I have a reminder to find out, like, why haven't you responded? And so that's my responsibility. And because I have a process for that, then I stick to it. If I just sent the proposal and then carried on with my life.
Wash your hands of it.
Yeah, my brain is busy. There's other things to do. There's a high chance I can forget. And I think that a lot of business owners are very busy. So then they get lost in the other things and don't realize, oh shit, 8 days have elapsed since I sent that quote.
Your top tip, which I absolutely rate, is you're aware that it's easy for shit to get lost in email. And I even said this in an earlier convo to somebody that popped into the office earlier today. Like, it just, with all the e-commerce brands out there and just the shit that gets into your inbox these days, stuff can just get lost. You're on the text message. Because so often when the text message goes off, what do? You pick up your phone and you read it.
Yeah.
It's very rare, and I don't think we've got to the stage yet where people are quite ignoring text messages or just deleting. They're being read. And I think that's a massive strategy that certainly works to your favour in terms of going, hey, I've sent this to you. I know you're going to read this. I'm watching.
Yeah, yeah. And then I get a gauge of what they're like as well.
Yes.
'Cause I think, okay, well, if you're slow to respond, then if I'm coaching you from a business aspect, well, how much urgency are you going to have when you've got to go chase a deal, chase an unpaid invoice, chase a Google review?
Yeah.
I can start to spot the pattern that's going to be repeating in other parts of the business.
Insights into their personality of their behaviour to go, are you the type of genuine aspirational business owner, or are you not really an aspirational business owner but you want to be and you're going to need to get spanked around a little bit?
Back to that client who's absolutely crushing it. I was speaking to one the other day who they said to me something, a line, which I thought, this is what I think a lot of business owners are looking for. And we talk about this in terms of break even, but I was reverse engineering their cash flow to see, okay, how can we get a break even? We're not making, well, we don't have extra cash. We're not losing any. How much work do we need to do at different margins, given we've got these loan repayments? And they were like, oh, so that's our figure. And basically they could see every month, okay, if we make X amount, then we should be pretty sweet. And once we start going past that, okay, we're going to be filling the bucket up of cash. If we're under it, sheesh, we've got to lean on cash reserves. So having that, again, it creates a target of, oh, wow, if we're not hitting that target, then we're mucking around a bit here. So it creates then again a level of urgency, a level of hunger, and a realization if the month isn't there, what are we going to do? And what do? You shake the tree.
But you've touched, albeit very briefly, on that break-even concept, and it's probably due another pod that we could do separately, because I was thinking this morning on the way in, that's one of the nuggets that comes out every time as part of due diligence.
Yeah.
And then going, okay, this is your break-even point, this is your break-even point for debt. We're digressing a little bit, folks. But then when you look at that sales number and then go, like what we were saying before, okay, is that an actual feasible amount of sales? If it is, where is it going to come from? What are we actually going to do? And then once you start and hit that number, you're getting confidence. And once you've got confidence as a business owner, we can make decisions to hire the next person, to go and buy the next vehicle, to maybe take a fucking holiday.
Yeah, we're doing some work recently with a client, and they've got a lot of their work that they have scheduled through to the end of the financial year in draft invoices, and which is really cool because they get to see that and they get excited by the figure. And I said, hey, we need to go a step further. I want to see that on a cash flow. I want to see that modeled out, that all going well, that work does drop in. I'm like, let's take, we know all our baseline costs in this business, they're very similar every month. Let's model out when you expect those draft invoices to be paid, and then we can see the cash, and then we can see what's happening to the cash flow down the bottom. And once they can see that, then I'm like, then if there's nothing to worry about cash-wise, as long as you do that work, we don't need to talk about cash. You don't even need to think about it. You just need to get back out there and do the things that you want to do. And it's business development, potentially increasing wages for themselves, taking a bit of an extra drawing. They know that they can get through summer. So it gives them the confidence.
Business owners put so much worry on the here and now because they don't have the visibility into the future, and they wait to bank the cash to give them the permission to make the decision, rather than exactly what the scenario was that you pointed out, that we're crystal ball gazing, but we're crystal ball gazing in a really sophisticated way that we know we're going to do this work, this money will be collected, the cash will come. That's confidence. Like, what could possibly go wrong? The only thing that could possibly go wrong is you don't do the fucking work. So you've only got yourself to blame.
Yeah, and another one that I was working with yesterday, so they're doing 90-day business planning. So they have finally been clearing down some debt because that's a new business and they've got to buy assets and equipment. So you get that, right, we're finally getting to the end of some of these loans, and then Luke comes along, spots another bottleneck, and the bottleneck is, well, we've actually really built up a brand now. People are reaching out to us. There's work that they can see. They're scared to go to it because they don't necessarily have the equipment and the capacity to do it. And the solution is, okay, we need some more equipment. Okay, what's that going to cost? okay, we probably want to go back and get more debt, but you've almost got to take yourself mentally back to, oh, okay, we can speed this journey up, but it's the right form of debt to get. So then if they do that, it then frees up the team's capacity because they've got more equipment. That frees up the business owner's time. That's the current bottleneck. That bottleneck gets removed, and then they go out and they do more business development to then fill up the equipment and the capacity that they have, and we can clear the debt. So then what we do is we model out, all right, let's have a look at if we can actually financially repay this, and then if we add in more debt, what then our revenue needs to be if we keep the current margins to be able to do it. Do we think we can go and find that extra amount of revenue? Piece of piss. I'm like, perfect. So then we're modeling that side of it, and then psychologically, I run their balance sheet back 4 years. I'm like, hey guys, if we take on that new debt right now, I'm like, you've been in more debt previous, say. So 2 years ago, they'd actually been in a higher amount of debt because they're just getting going. I'm like, now you've got 2 years of customers, contacts, brand, Google reviews, reputation. So I'm like, this debt is going to get paid back even faster. So therefore, let's get on the blower and say to maybe YDC or the heart of the land.
Yes.
And I said, and you know what? We're going to tell them, show us your best rate, because we know interest rates are decreasing, and we can go to, there's multiple different sources that will give us this funding. We want to see a single figure bloody interest rate, not a double figure interest rate that they keep shafting these business owners with.
Mate, that to me sounds like the aspirational spiral of success
that
you've just outlined there.
Yes.
Like it's some people go, oh, the doom loop of failure, and like we flip it, and if you carry out those actions and those habits, it's a spiral of success.
Yes. Yeah, and they could even see that even once they then get to that, because I'm so futuristic, I'm then like, okay, so once we clear that debt, what equipment are you going to need then? They're like, oh, well, we do have this that we may want to buy. Husband and wife, I'm like, are you okay with that? Because this path is just going to carry on. But they can see that their business is going to get them towards their personal goals.
I think the other thing about the pipeline, and it's getting into that sphere of uncomfortableness that business owners don't do a lot of, and that is ask. And we've done pods on it in the past, but I think where you've got a business with established relationships, go and talk to your customer base and find out what their plans are. So many business owners are reactive, waiting for said customers who are repeat customers to then come back and go, oh yeah, I'm going to place my order now. And there's a lot of these businesses that are out there that are going to make cyclical decisions. And internally, there's going to be layers of decision makers that have to get some kind of approval. They know what they're going to be doing. You need to get insight into their processes and their discussions of going, what are you looking at doing over the next 12 months, 24 months? Are you going to go off and buy this new bread cutting machine or new sewing machine for Bev? It's due an upgrade. I'll probably look at that in about 6 months' time. It's in my plan. It's been signed off. I've got a CapEx approval of $25,000. Great. Jot that in your pipeline. That is a freaking lead right there, because you're going to know at month 4, you're going to be getting in touch with said customer going, we spoke a little while ago and you need this new bit of kit. How's it going? Are you ready? Lead times for this type of stuff, knowing it's got to come from overseas, you've got to start and think about that. When do you want to place your order?
Recruiters do this quite well, don't they? Hey, are you going to be hiring in the next 6 months? They're trying to get ahead of what people's capacity constraints are to then figure, okay, I'm going to be the first one that hopefully you turn on to get this. I reckon what a lot of business owners do is that they find something that gives them security and comfort. And the better way to articulate this, we have a client and we're trying to get them away from this, but they know that if things slow down, they can always go back subcontracting. So there's always a safety net and a security of, oh, we don't make as much money, but I know I can always keep the boys employed because we can go and do this. And every time I ask, is that what the work you want to be doing? The answer is, fuck no. Like, well, then what are we going to do to ensure we don't have to? But there's, I think, so many Kiwi business owners, if they were bold enough to accept it, they actually just rely on work that they don't really want to be doing because they don't want to then go out there and build the pipeline to then get the work that they truly want to do. It's hard to do.
It's uncomfortable. And I reckon it's uncomfortable because they're all afraid of
rejection. Yeah.
Some of you're very comfortable with.
Hey, when it starts happening from 13, you start to build up some thick skin to it.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, that's where it comes from in terms of going, right, we've got a no. It's a no now, but when can we get the next yes? And it just takes time. And I think if you are consistent with your habits and nurturing it along, I mean, every industry is different, and we could talk about high value or low value, high volume, low volume, whatever it is. You're going to have to come up with something that suits your circumstance, and it might just be you're powering out emails, high volume, and multiple touch points because you can't be calling every single person, or it might be low volume, high value. So you're on the phone nurturing somebody along every month or two or whatever it is. The horses for courses. But you got to be picking up the phone and getting that, no, not today, Rog, on the Ranger. Give me a call back later. Roger's back on the phone. Nah, not yet. Oh, I'm having a look at the Mazda. Oh, don't be doing that. Oh, we've got a special on the Wild Track. And Roger's patience will persevere and he'll get the deal done.
Yeah, my final piece would be if that made you feel uncomfortable about accepting the work that you know you don't really want to be doing, the question we often ask clients is, what would you be forced to do if that dried up? So for that client, as an example, if they ring the subcontractor because they're quiet and the subcontractor says, oh, no, sorry, don't need you anymore, we found someone else, that's often where the business owner gets forced into, oh, shit, I've got to solve it another way. And often they do go and solve it. So our question is, how can you force yourself to solve it before you need to?
Oh, yes. But that's it. Because I think so many business owners are just operating in the here and now. And we've got this crazy strategic view of the world of always looking ahead. And I guess we take that for granted in terms of going like, that's how everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Newsflash. Not everyone does, apparently. But it's a great tool to have as a business owner. Because it's pretty easy to go, right, I'm going off to do Bev's work today, and then tomorrow I've got Judy booked in, and then I've got Sally, and then maybe John later in the week. So, okay, well, that's all here and now stuff. What are we doing at week 4 where there's nothing in the calendar? Are we just waiting, or are you going to go out there and actually shake the tree and make some stuff happen?
Righto, mate. To wrap up, one action item each from each of us. What would be, if people aren't doing anything around their pipeline, then what would be something simple that they can start with to ensure that 2026 doesn't end up like 2025 in this pipeline type space?
Oh, I reckon the best low value hack would be your contacts out of Xero, if that's what you're using, or MYOB, and then smack out an email or pick up the phone because you've got existing data, they've transacted with you, easy convert.
Love it. Past customers. Yeah. And then build a system, like you said earlier, whether it's paper, whether it's Google Sheet, whatever, where you actually start tracking it and set a calendar reminder, because you've got to turn it into a habit.
Yes.
It has, and think like a salesperson. What would they do? They wouldn't just flippantly, if you gave them leads, be like, oh yeah, mate, I'll give them a call at some stage. They'll be like, okay, great. It would go into a process. Right, I'm going to follow them up. I didn't hear from them. I dialed them a second time. I wrote the date down. I text them. They're going to collect all that data. So, build some sort of system that will work for you, and don't get caught at the what's the amazing one and the best one with the best features and the AI and the automation. Just actually start tracking it.
Yeah, that's the magic, eh? Just get started.